How long can you go on saying Happy New Year?
Well, there is that, isn't it? With a bit of luck, we could string it out into next month as well.
Yeah, that's it. yeah. Well, I mean, it is. We are close to the Chinese New Year, which was this weekend.
That is very true.
And
But
of course, right till Burns Night.
There is that as well. Yes, we're not far from that, is it? 31st month?
25th.
25th, is it? There you are.
25th.
Shows as much. You wouldn't have thought I went to school in Scotland for 7 years, would you?
No, you just snubbed the whole of Scotland there, Peter.
I have indeed. Well, there we are. I do apologise to you for that.
Yeah, not accepted.
Not accepted. Indeed.
Yeah, stand there drinking your Scotch whiskey and then forgetting Burns Night.
Absolutely. But I do like haggis. I think haggis, and especially when it's deep fried from one of your fabulous chip shops as well.
Yeah, and deep fried Mars bar for dessert. Have you ever caught haggis though? I can't catch the things.
Well, you see, you're obviously clearly following them the wrong way around the mountain, aren't you? You've got to. I understand the way to hunt them is to beat them head on. You frighten them, and because the legs are one side of the body is shorter than the other, they turn around and then roll off down the hill.
And then you need a second person with a pot at the bottom.
Indeed. Yes, absolutely.
So what's topic day today then, Peter?
So the topic day, after a little bit of thought, I was going to do New Year's resolutions, and then just picking, I get no award for original thought, but it was sort of a bucket list of, a list of things that you don't want to do before you die. So things that you just things for whatever reason that if you're given the option, you just will not go anywhere near.
Yeah. So it's things like you don't want to lose your head before you die.
Yeah, that sort of thing. You don't want to, trap your head in the door or something like that, or that sort of thing. You don't,
Well, I have made a list because I got a sneak preview.
Well, that is that's very, very well organised of you, and I'm sure
people make lists.
Make lists and then ignore them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and when the instruction book comes out, you get a new piece of kit. What do you do with the instruction book?
Don't throw it away. Okay? Where would the challenge be if you read the instruction book? Wouldn't it?
Indeed.
It's a bit like deadlines as well. There's the quote, isn't it, from Douglas Adams that says that from Hitchhiker's Guide in the Galaxy. It said, deadlines, I love the whooshing noise that they make as they go by.
I'm not. The only thing by Douglas Adams I've ever read is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So what's the top of your not on my bucket list?
Top of the things. Well, I've got a few things on the list. I'll start gently. And this one I'm sure everybody can identify with is I actually actively, and at times you can't avoid it, but flying with Ryanair is on the list. If I never flew again with Ryanair, it would be too soon by some margin.
Right. I find them very efficient.
Do you? Not getting you somewhere?
No, I find that I've flown with them twice. Both times they were on time, and they got us all lined up, and they pre-checked. They walked along the line, pre-checking all the stuff as they went along. Yeah. So as soon as the doors opened for the plane, on we went. Very efficient.
It is ruthlessly efficient when it works. My experience of them was last year flying to Portugal with them. And again, we turned up at Manchester Airport for the flight to Lisbon. We turned up, we saw that we checked in online, we turned up, we just hand baggage, we went through all the security, got to the plenty of time. So Mrs. M and I sat in the departure lounge and looked at the board, and it said Ryanair flight, whatever it is, to Lisbon, delayed. Next announcement was 4 hours later.
All right.
Not a person. Then. Oh yeah, no, that was it. And then they then came up 4 hours later. They'll then check us in to the gate at, I think it was midnight or something like that. So they checked us in and got us to the gate. And when we arrived at the gate, I said to my wife, they've just done this because they have probably coming to the end of their shift, those staff, because there's no aeroplane here.
Yeah.
And we just sat there. So
they wanted to give you false hope.
Absolutely. It was, yeah, I would like to liken it to traveling with the RAF movers and going through the
Which are
handling.
also as efficient.
Also as ruthlessly efficient as that Ryanair. Yes.
Well, at least
experience.
they've got a smile, and
They
they've got cool coloured aircraft.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And they do that. They do
With
that.
targets on the side.
Absolutely. Apparently, I read that they have those targets on the side so that during the First World War, the French could actually identify them as Allied aircraft.
Oh, is that
That's why they're those colours in that shape.
Oh, yeah. Very interesting.
There you
Very
go.
interesting.
So, go on, Matt. That's enough. How about yourself? What's on your list?
Well, the top of my list is I don't want to climb Mount Everest, because I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day of the queue to get to the top of Mount Everest. Now, if I want to be climbing a mountain, I want to be doing it like that and be the top and nobody else around apart from the people I'm going with.
Yeah.
I don't want to queue for hours to get to the top.
I thought you were going to tell me you didn't want to climb Everest because you didn't have a string vest and a woolly hat.
Well, I don't have that either. I would probably get a Chinook to drop me off.
Wouldn't get that high.
Quick selfie and then off again.
It would break on the way there. No, I would absolutely agree with that. I've done quite a bit of mountaineering, and one of the joys of it is the sheer isolation. That's what you go for, just to be the only person there. So I'm absolutely with you. Queuing generally, if I could avoid queuing generally, but yeah, going all that way to stand in sub-zero temperatures in shocking conditions and with the threat of ice falls, etc., it's just bonkers. So yeah,
and no coffee shop. You know, it's a perfect place. You see that as the queues go around, a little coffee bothy.
Yeah. Well, you could go one better actually, because there's so much ice. You could do gin and tonics and cocktails and things like that. Couldn't you? Yeah,
there's a thought. There's the business plan.
Yeah.
Right now, John Tate's messaging me lots. If he's on, John, if you're watching in the background, say hello. If he's not, but he's just sending me text. Yeah. So that's the top of mine. Now I made a list. How many's on your list?
Well, I got to 6, but I'm sure as we work our way through this, I will come up with others or agree with you, which I'll cobble together.
Yes.
So shall I? I'll go again then, just to see. I class this as theme parks, but there's probably more to this in it. It's not. I would say like Disneyland and things like that. There's just something a bit strange about going to visit a place where there are people running around in big foam rubbery suits dressed up as cartoon characters that don't generally exist, and people just paying to go for that. And I just think it just strikes me as hell.
Hold the fort. We've got a viewer.
Hey, steady.
Hey, Cap, how you doing? Another one. And Scott.
Hi, welcome.
We're getting a virtual torrent of people. So hello, Cap, and hello, Scott. Both in the same neck of the woods. One's Glasgow, one's Edinburgh, one's Helensbury. But both in Scotland. Good job they joined a little bit late because you missed Peter insulting Scotland by getting the date of Burns Night wrong.
There's plenty of opportunity. Scotland gets a special mention for one of my other songs.
Yes. And how could I have missed that off my list?
Indeed. So we'll get on to that. So anyway, back to Disneyland. Really, Disneyland. Just the whole thing just escapes me. And to go to a theme park like Legoland, for example, as well. I kind of get, because somebody's put a lot of effort into building structures and things with Lego bricks, which is commendable.
Because everything's built out of Lego, really.
Yeah, absolutely. But Disneyland, don't get it.
I've been to both those, and we've got another one, Simon. Hey, they're coming in thick and fast now. Simon, a veteran of this show. I like Legoland, and I like Disneyland. I had the best Christmas ever was at Disneyland Hong Kong for me, and how dare you put Disneyland in the not on my bucket list?
Yeah, well, it's I would question your choice actually
I
if
really
we
enjoyed
spent Christmas in Hong
We,
Kong.
I could tell you, I could wax lyrical about the stories, but we were in because we were disappointed we couldn't get into the themed restaurant. We actually got invited to a world buffet.
Really?
On Disneyland, and it was brilliant. Andrew Billington, all the way down there in Kingsclear.
Oh,
Hello, Andrew. I know all these people.
very good.
Yeah.
Good.
So Simon was just brought in. Yeah, he's closer to his bucket than other people. Tell us, everyone, if you. So the show today, we're talking about what you wouldn't have on your bucket list. So feel free to fire in and tell us what you wouldn't have on your bucket list, and we'll bring it up.
We'll bet on recording it.
I don't know whether I'm going to let you put that in the bucket, Peter.
Well, go on then. You have a go, and I'll veto a couple of yours then.
I'm looking down my list here and just wondering which one I'm going to go for. I'll lump two together because it's a similar sort of thing and it involves getting eaten. So I don't want to swim with sharks, and I don't want to stick my head in a lion's mouth.
Yeah, that's not going to end well either of those, is it?
No,
really?
either of those. I have no idea why people want to do that with things that want to eat you.
Yeah. No, that's just wrong, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. So that's.
Yeah,
my wife tried to buy me a swimming with sharks ticket for one of my birthdays, and I got a little bit suspicious then.
Yeah, did you buy life insurance at the same time?
Especially when she signed this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's not a lot I can say about that, really. I would tend to agree with you because, especially the sharks one, because there is a risk of drowning because we're not really meant to be in water.
Yeah.
Humans aren't designed for that. So you've got to get all geared up for that. So that could go badly wrong to start with.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got the added sort of jeopardy of being eaten by the shark. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I agree with that. That's not good.
Yeah, that's good. Kath is yes, Kath. We were talking about. I don't want to go to Everest. Having seen the queues to get up there, I would rather climb a smaller mountain that doesn't have a queue. And we're just talking about putting a coffee shop on there or a gin bar, just so that we could entertain the people that were queuing. I think there's a little gold mine there.
Sorry, go on, Matt.
I was going to say you've had two and I've had two.
Right, I'm going to insult Scotland again now. So there is, and I can't remember who it is that said it, but there'll be some very intelligent person that said that hell is other people. So my number one on the list really that says that I definitely don't want to do is have dinner with Nicola Sturgeon.
I totally agree with you on that one. I wouldn't want to have dinner with Nicola Sturgeon. No, she might not want to have dinner with me.
Well, I can't believe that.
No.
Yeah, we got in there first by saying we didn't want to have dinner with her.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can't imagine the conversation would be anything about anything other than her.
Well, there is that, and her very sort of bigoted view, I think, is probably about how the rest of the world owes Scotland everything, or in her view, and and just no sort of almost the sort of dare I call it a totalitarian regime that she's trying to instill in Scotland?
Well, I mean, some of these people are listening from Scotland. They might be voters, and we're not going to get political. It's just we don't want to have dinner with Nicola Sturgeon. Hey, absolutely. Scott, look at this. Scott has put skydiving, jumping out of a perfectly serviceable airplane, and I have got jumping out of a perfectly serviceable airplane. Is that the wrong way around?
It is, yeah, because the camera does that, doesn't it? So it does all the left, right.
If I turn it on that way.
No, that's a blank sheet of paper.
No, I agree with Scott. Jumping out of a perfectly serviceable airplane. What is the point?
Well, you see, I quite like that, and I would definitely be up for doing that. Actually, during the skydiving, the one I just don't get, bungee jumping. Bungee jumping, just aircraft parachuting I get as a sport. Bungee jumping just don't get.
Yeah, you sort of doesn't it do some daft things to certain parts of your body?
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Yeah,
It does.
I'm sure if you bungee jump, there's something that I forget what it is, but there's something it's not good for you.
Does it give
It's
you
like,
Does it give men a couple of lumps in their throat as they decelerate rapidly?
Three Adam's apples.
Yeah, no, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that may be what it is. And we've got another one here. We've got Andrew is not bothered about visiting Antarctica.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind when it's summer, but again, but the polar bears would quite like to visit Antarctica, I think, because there's already pickings of penguins down there.
yeah. It's a long swim for them, though.
Yeah.
Indeed. So,
Yeah,
are you claiming your parachuting one there as well? Is it?
Well, no, I'm not claiming that one because Scott said it. I was just agreeing.
All right.
So that means I can go for one.
Go on.
I've just decided. Look, I'm getting close to my bucket list. I've got a couple of little jowls there. Look. See, I'm looking a bit like a British bulldog. So I'm gonna have to go and have some therapy. Right. So what have I got on my list? Right. So go on. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. Or Big Brother, or any other reality crap.
Well, I would like to put you forward for Love Island, Matt. Now that you've put that on the list, I think you'd be a great contender for Love Island. Just ask Mrs. P whether you got a couple of weeks off.
My personality would shine through.
Indeed.
Yeah.
In fact, you probably wouldn't because you're a normal person.
Right. Okay. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just
I haven't got a six pack though, so I don't think I'll get on there. I haven't got a six pack. I haven't got a tan. I've got jowls now.
Well, we could have a whip round. We could buy you some false tan.
I could do a Ryland, couldn't I? And get my teeth in here.
Teeth done. Yeah, absolutely. Turkey teeth is the apparently.
Get a radio toe.
Absolutely. But actually, just on that, something else that I go on my bucket list is cosmetic surgery of any form. And I have to say, I've seen a proliferation of men recently who, despite their face wrinkled and graying and going old, are dyeing their hair, and they look really bizarre, very, very bizarre. Right. Why not?
You're not tempted. This is all my own colour, but not my own hair. You can see I'm going losing it on the top.
Well, this is all my own hair, and it is definitely going side. Ask Simon Ward about hair products and things. He will have comments about that.
He doesn't have to get it cut. He just needs a wet flannel, doesn't he? And
he does. I bet he was saying to me this morning he has to put linseed oil on now to protect the wood at the top of his head. But anyway, it's great this. He can't answer back for a change.
Andrew's just popped in and over. Oh, you got... So Andrew's piped up. They're doing over 40s Love Island. I can't be doing with all that nonsense, all that messing around. I'll just go and have a pint of cider in a pub somewhere.
So it's another one that I would be very keen to actively avoid. Being over 6 foot tall and played rugby and been in the army and all things like that. I'm not a huge fan of small spaces. Not claustrophobic, just not a fan of small spaces. So on my list of things to avoid before I die, potholing. What is the point of that?
Yeah, I agree with you. And also, it depends if are you electing for a cremation or a burial? Because if you don't like small spaces, you're stuffed on the old.
I think I might. Think I'll just go for the cremation bit.
It's an even smaller box.
Yeah, even smaller box. But I'll be dead then. I really won't care.
Yeah, that's okay. So potholing, tell me about it.
Yeah, so potholing, and I suppose sort of these big labyrinth caves that you can walk into, like Wookiee Hole and things like that, are absolutely fine. The potholing I'm talking about are these people that get dressed up in the dry suits and helmets on with torches and harnesses, and they get themselves down. And I live close to the Peak District, and I believe there's quite a well-known warren of tunnels that these potholers go in. And the thought of squeezing myself through a small gap in rocks that's half, underground in the dark, half filled with water, and the gap is actually called the cheese press, kind of gives you an idea of how small it is and how badly wrong it could go. So I just kind of think, do you know what? I might just leave that park somewhere and just avoid going into it altogether.
I like cheese, but I don't want to be one.
No, absolutely.
So, I'll give that a miss.
I don't.
Richard's from home. So Richard is he travels more than Richard Branson. He's always all around the country, and he's at home this week. So Richard, what do you not want on your bucket list? Answers in the in the comments. So yeah, I don't think I'm the same. I prefer the open spaces. I'm not claustrophobic, but I do prefer open spaces.
Yeah.
Now, so we've got the celebrity. Now, this one's going to be a contentious one. Own a BMW.
Well, you see, I can't agree with you on that one. Can't agree with you.
Have you got a BMW?
No, I have owned BMWs in the past, but I haven't. They have had a lot of bad press. They are, the sort of lesser models, if you like, the smaller engine, very efficient, but ruthlessly well engineered, go on forever. Very well, good, generally good handling cars, etc. And especially when you get into the sports models like the M series cars, fantastic. Now, if you said to me, owning an Audi, I'd have absolutely agreed with you on that. The Audi apparently have a device fitted into the back or in the front of them that just automatically attracts them to the car in front, so that they've got a closing space of about 2 to 3 feet off the bumper of the car in front, especially when they're you're on the motorway traveling at 70 miles an hour or something. You can guarantee they'll be behind you. And I think in a certain light, actually, the 4 rings of an Audi just spell cock. I don't know why that is, but there we are. Yeah.
Steady on. Right now, so Scott has a BMW, I'm presuming, with winter tyres. Good man. Do you know what happened this weekend? We had snow this weekend, and I went out on Saturday morning, and there was a BMW balancing on the stone bridge because it had tried to take the corner, obviously too fast, and somehow it had gone straight on uphill and balancing on this stone bridge, which is a single-way stone bridge, and managed to get itself almost in the river.
Yeah,
a bit of a nasty surprise for it.
Yeah.
So I'm presuming it wasn't Scott, and it didn't have winter tyres.
I'll meet you halfway, actually. BMW SUVs on great big wide tyres. And they think because I'm in an SUV, I'm higher up, and I've got big wide tyres, and I've got 4-wheel drive, I can do anything I want. But what the drivers tend to forget is that they've got big wide tyres, but the car's bigger and it's heavier, etc. It doesn't mean to say it'll go around corners any faster, and it certainly won't stop any faster because the tyres are road tyres, etc. They just won't work. So yeah.
It's an interesting thing. When people get 4-wheel drive cars, they think they can drive fast off-road, and that's not the case.
No.
It doesn't mean to say you can drive fast off-road. It means you can probably get off-road.
And the point about winter tyres as well is absolutely spot on. If you want to take a vehicle off-road, you need the tyres off to do it.
You need the right tyres, yes. And it wasn't Scott. I'm pleased to hear that, Scott, but you're safe and well. So your turn, Peter. What's on
my turn? Right. Let's see. Again, going back to very laudable people doing things for charity. All for charity and support for charity, giving up your time, running events, running marathons, climbing things, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
Are you going to offend anybody?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
no. Okay. But I have absolutely no desire to do a Tough Mudder. One of these extreme sort of assault courses over 5 miles and things like that. I did that in the army. I've no desire to do it again. And then with the added excitement of having to be dunked in icy cold water, electrocuted, run through bales that are on fire, whatever it is you have to do. Yeah, not for me, thank you very much.
Right, I'm going to make you feel really bad now because I did it to raise money for the charity that supported my parents after my brother died. So,
sorry.
no,
But
I totally get where you're coming from. A lot of people haven't experienced the assault courses. They're not allowed to call them assault courses now. They call them confidence courses, I think. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
They used to have to call them confidence courses.
There's a particularly vicious one at Sennybridge, which you start in the car park, and the first bit is running a mile up the hill, and then it's all through these trees and through ditches and tunnels underwater and all the rest of it. And it's, just you get to the end of it, you think, why on earth?
Right, now, the interesting thing is Veterans Voice next week. I've got the Holdfast Elite guys on. Now, being a submariner, Scott, would you do the diving that Richard and the guys at Holdfast Elite do? It looks like hard work for me. I think I'll give that one a miss, but it looks like hard work. Now, if anybody does want to come on the show and tell us about their bucket list, I can send you an invite in the to your LinkedIn message, your LinkedIn account, and you can jump on and join us. However, it's my turn now, is it not?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to have to be careful this one. Go to a festival. I have no desire to go to a festival.
I can understand. A music festival, it depends. Are you saying we're at a festival? Go on, narrow it down. When you say a festival, what do you mean?
Well, let's look at Glastonbury, for example.
Okay.
I can watch it on the telly.
Yeah.
Or I can go there and get either sunburnt, trench foot, or get robbed, or get just generally just have no idea to be like that, and I can watch telly or listen to it.
But if there was an opera festival, would you go to that? No. I don't think they have.
What makes you think I like opera?
I don't know. I'm taking a wild stab in the dark that you might be mildly educated or just inquisitive or something like that.
No, mildly.
Yeah, I would. I get the festival thing with the mud and the proximity and the chance of catching sort of contagious diseases and things like that, and staying at home would definitely be warmer and drier. And you do get, as you go into sort of things, I suppose if you go to these steam rallies or anything, not that I hasten to add that I've not been to things like that, or car shows, you tend to get people who are almost zealot-like in their enthusiasm for a particular type of steam engine, or typically, and they spend all their lives in the garage tinkering and building these things, only to carry it into a muddy field and sit there for 2.5 days with this little steam engine pumping water out of one bucket into another again.
And then spend the next year cleaning it.
Ready for the next one. Yeah. Or car shows. So I've been to a car show once, and there was a group there who were absolutely passionate about Austin Allegros, Austin Allegro Owners Club. And you think, that car was rubbish when it was launched. Yeah. Why on earth would you want to preserve it?
My granddad had a brown one.
Oh,
many years ago. Looked like a turd.
Yeah, I was going to call it something else, but I thought I better not. So I'll stop myself there.
So Andrew's been there. He's been there to look after the generators to power equipment. I thought when I saw festivals and generators, I thought Andrew would have been there as a steam enthusiast, but no, he's making sure that Ed Sheeran can send half the nation deep.
See Andrew's comment there about it's too claustrophobic. So I think Andrew's probably on the list as well for not wanting to go potholing.
Yes, probably jumped in before potholing or after the potholing.
Yeah,
came along. So festivals is mine.
Yeah. So the one that's on my list, back to people again. So this one might get a bit of a reaction, but on my choice of people not to have dinner with. I've got Prince Harry on here
Right.
because I do not want to hear and sit and listen to him telling us about how deprived and how hard done by he is, and how everybody's against him, and it's everybody else's fault.
Yes, not mine. Yeah, I sort of agree with you there. I sort of I haven't read his book, and I have no intention of doing so. But yeah, I was sort of I can think of other people to go and have dinner with.
Yes, indeed.
I was just looking at.
Oh,
Yeah, steady on, hasn't it? And we used to call the Allegros all Agros.
yeah.
Yes. So you don't fancy that then?
No, it's not on top of my list of things. And it was interesting that they did a survey, wasn't it, recently after the publishing of his book, and his popularity rating is now below Prince Andrew's.
Really?
Which is quite good going when you consider what Prince Andrew's been through.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, better man than me, Andrew.
Yeah.
I can find wide open spaces. No,
so I didn't realise the ratings.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's lots of stuff you can get on social media. I'm not going to get involved with the politics there, but it's not my cup of tea.
No.
I wouldn't even have to. Now, talking about the food, I would not eat frog's legs.
I see. I've eaten frog's legs, and it's a bit like they say. Have you eaten crocodile? Yeah, it tastes like chicken. Frog's legs taste like chicken. We used to have a very good restaurant where I live, and the chap there was absolutely he'd run a restaurant in Paris, and he brought his, for whatever reason, his skills and everything to where close to where we live, and opened this restaurant. It was very, very good, and he had frog's legs one night on the menu, and we said, "Oh, we'll try that," and they were very tasty. Very tasty indeed.
Yeah, I can't. I don't like the principle of them being caught. I tried snails once, and it just.
See, I couldn't do snails. Don't I? Yeah. I don't like that one.
Yeah. So it's the principle of the frog's legs things, and the snails. What is the point with snails, right? They absolutely. You speak to somebody who likes snails, and they say what you need to do is fry them in lots of butter and lots of garlic.
Yeah, so you can't taste them.
So you can't taste a snail. So what's the point in eating a snail?
Yeah.
Why don't you just have butter and garlic or something?
I'm a bit like that. You see, you're talking to a man who thinks the only way I will eat an egg is an omelette, or if it's buried in a cake or something like that as part of an ingredient. But boiled egg, scrambled egg, poached egg, fried egg. At a push, I'll eat a fried egg. It's a bagging joke, but yeah.
God, I was ready to jump in there because I'd defy it. Because 2 nights running at the weekend, Mrs. Pybus made the most fantastic udon noodles, and they had egg on the top. Absolutely brilliant. They came back by popular demand the second night.
The other thing, I don't get oysters. Don't get oysters.
I've had oysters once. That's it.
Yeah, never again.
No.
And I'm also, I sort of jokingly, and I will eat them. But if there's a choice, I'll avoid them. Olives, don't get olives. Food of the devil. Don't get
olives. I like olives.
Don't like them.
Don't mind them. I could live off bread and cheese, cider. That would be me. If that's everything that was in the world, I would be happy.
Yeah. No, it'd be good.
Because I'm sure cider is one of my 5 a day, and I have 5 of them, then I'm sorted. Talking about cider and apples, owning an Apple Mac. I have no desire to own an Apple Mac. Far too expensive. The brain that designed the Apple does not match mine.
Well, and the buttons are the wrong way around the keyboard as well, aren't they? They're just wrong. And the software doesn't work properly, and it's anti-competitive as well, because Apple's Apple, Mac, and all the rest only really work with other Apple products. So, yeah, I was given one when I started a new job. I lasted 3 days with it, and then insisted they bought me a PC laptop so I could get on and do my job.
Is that PC as in politically correct?
Yeah, that one as well. Yeah, it had a special editing function in it.
Yeah, it had a filter on it. Oh, very good. So what else have you got? You only had 6, and I had 10. So I win
Yeah,
your top trumps bucket
yeah,
list.
no, well, you've definitely beaten me on that. Things I'm sure I can come up with it. Well, I did throw in as well cosmetic surgery. I have no desire because I'll count that on as 7.
Yeah.
But you will need to get that done since you're going to be appearing on the Over 40 Love Island.
Right. Okay. And I need to get my tan and white veneers.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right,
Teeth done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could just get a big piece of Black and Nasty to sort the jowls out, couldn't you? Just put it around the back of your
get a
head.
bit of masking tape.
Yeah. That would work.
Now I've been wondering, Peter, are you going to a Star Trek convention after this?
I am, yes. Yes, I am a secret.
You've got a thingy there.
It's more. It's actually when I bought this jumper, I thought, oh, I quite like this jumper, and then I got it back, and I realised that this is a badge. So I actually call this my Star Trek jumper.
Oh dear.
Yeah, just for that reason.
Okay, great minds think alike.
It's got like a little lightning bolt squiggly thing on it, which
that's good. Beat me up, Scotty.
Yeah, beat me up. So yeah, that's the thing.
I think Captain Kirk wore that colour purple at some point.
Probably did. I think it's
does
more.
That mean you're now? Does that? Because that means you're an artillery officer, doesn't it?
What's that?
Purple. Yeah, because they apparently on Star Trek the yellow jerseys were for like the navigation and the deck,
really?
and the blue ones for the scientific people, and the red ones were for the engineers. Allegedly.
Well, there you go.
Trekkie.
You know far more about this than I did.
Well, I just said make it up as I go along. So Andrew Billington, political correctness is not on his bucket list.
Yeah, that's very true. Or wokeism.
Or what?
Or being woke.
Being woke.
Woke. W-O-K-E. Have you not heard this? It's all in the press about you can't offend people, and you can't do this and you can't do that. And
I thought you were talking about Wokingham for a minute.
No.
Right.
No, just being woke.
No.
That's
what happens. That's what happens when the cat wants to come in. My wife woke me.
Right. Well, we won't even go there. I won't even try to explain that.
Yeah. I have to let the cat in.
Yeah,
I'm running out of things on my bucket list. So, because I got more than you, I think the last one on my list. So let me just go down and climb Mount Everest, swim with sharks, stick my head in a lion's mouth, jump out of a perfectly surfaceable airplane, eat frog's legs, go on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here, own a BMW, own an Apple Mac, go to a festival. The last one was wrestle an anaconda or a crocodile.
Yeah.
I have no idea, no desire to do that.
Yeah, and up there with other dangerous things animals that you don't want to go near. Have you seen those? What is it? Komodo dragon things that they apparently they live off in Indonesia or something like that.
Yeah.
Apparently their saliva is that ridden with bacteria that if they catch you with their tongue, the bacteria gets into your system and there's no coming back from it. It kills you in about 4 or 5 hours, and then they just eat you.
Maybe somebody ought to get into have Listerine or something like that.
Yeah, that's an idea. Yeah, it'd be a good sponsorship deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Cure the Komodo dragon. Because the dragon, the old advert, the dragon would gargle with Listerine, so I can't see why a Komodo dragon can't gargle with Listerine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe we cured and we saved people's lives.
Yeah.
So.
What have you done there? Is that the list done?
That's all my list. That's everything that's on my bucket list, or not bucket list.
Excellent. No, we could do. What else could we add in there? I have absolutely no desire to appear on television or in a soap opera or anything like that. Just doesn't do it for me. What else? Not really. Well, I'm up there with the Antarctica one. I would quite like to visit it, but no desire to trek across it, single, solo, or anything like that.
Yeah. Now, interesting enough, a connection of yours and mine, Sean Matton, I think you're connected with him.
Yeah.
He was put in charge, officer in charge of South Georgia for a period of time. Yes. So the Queen put him in charge of South Georgia on the proviso that he didn't break it and he gave it back in one piece.
Well, yeah, that would have been a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So Kath just said that's how the Komodo. Just turn it off there. That's how the Komodo dragon killed the water buffalo.
Buffalo. There we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't make it up.
No, you didn't. Yeah, I'm sure everything that comes out of your mouth is absolutely spot on.
Gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Right. So I think we're about at the end now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. We've sort of run out of steam there, haven't we?
We've run out of things on our bucket list, or our not bucket list. And we've had thank you very much for everybody for joining in, because this went out last minute. And why did it go out last minute, Peter?
Because it didn't work.
Well, it didn't work, but I put the invite out. I set it up for next week instead of this week, so I had to cancel it and reschedule it, and so had to re-invite everybody again. And so people would have seen the invite cancelled. So it's great that we had some people come on and say hello and give us the benefit of their wisdom.
And thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Peter. And you can now be beamed up back to the mothership.
Thank you. But before that, should we have a quick audience poll about what we should discuss in a fortnight's time?
Indeed, yeah. If anyone's so we're not back next week because it's Veterans Voice next week, so we're doing alternate weeks at the moment. But anybody out there is fancy a particular topic you would like to discuss and moan about, and if we pick that one, we will have you back on as a guest to wax lyrical.
Yeah. So, we could do half an hour on people that we would like to offend.
Yes. People that we would like to offend and why.
Why?
Yeah, so it's not happening on the 30th, Andrew, because I cancelled it and replaced it. Oh, here we go, Scott. Salary negotiations. That's a difficult one. How do you do it properly? There are adverts, there are ways out there of doing it. So I take it that's all Andrew. On the same, I think we're getting there. So both of them are along the same topic. And there we go. Scott's
well, if we're doing salary negotiations in HR, could we just do recruitment consultants as well?
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, because Simon's here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Simon can come on and defend himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he might be trying to defend the undefensible.
So are we doing that then? Recruitment consultants, HR, and all things recruitment orientated.
Oh, yeah. We could have a laugh about. Should we just call it HR and HR calamities or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do something like that.
Yeah, something like that. We will think of a suitable title.
Yeah. Good.
This is Andrew. Andrew is currently, I think, currently looking for work elsewhere, aren't you, Andrew? I'll leave it at that. So I think you're on the market in a few weeks' time. So I think you've probably got some very astute observations on that particular front.
That's very good, Kath. Very good.
You're going to Patagonia. You're going to Patagonia, not the South Pole. You have got your map the right way around, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you very much, everybody. We will have a look through the comments, and we will come up with something to discuss and moan about in our show the first week of February. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, Andrew. Kath.
Thank you very much.
Who else have we had on? We had Andrew, Kath, Scott, and Simon, and Richard popped up and then he popped off again. Or I think Richard actually just popped in to say hello and then shut off again to make his.
He probably thought it was rubbish. I'm not going to waste half an hour of my life.
I'll sort him out later.
Yeah.
Right, but thank you very much, everybody, and see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes.
Take care. Bye bye.